In breaking news today, the Department for Work and Pensions, DWP, has announced an 8.5% increase in the UK state pension for 2025. This announcement has come at a time when many pensioners are struggling with the rising cost of living, including soaring energy bills and inflated food prices. For many retirees, the state pension is a crucial source of income, providing a foundation for their financial security after decades of work. So, what does this increase really mean, and is it enough to ensure that pensioners can maintain a reasonable standard of living going forward? The 8.5% increase in the state pension for 2025 is certainly a positive development. It provides immediate relief to millions of people who rely on the state pension to meet their day-to-day expenses. But before we get too excited, it's important to dig into what this actually means in the broader context of inflation, the state pension system, and the long-term financial outlook for pensioners. First, let's take a closer look at what the DWP's announcement actually entails. As of April 2025, the full new state pension will rise from £203.85 per week to £221.17, an increase of £17.32. For those receiving the basic state pension, the increase is even more pronounced, rising from £141.85 per week to £153.71, which is a boost of £11.86. These changes are being made in accordance with the government's triple lock policy, a mechanism that guarantees that the state pension increases by the highest of three factors: inflation, average earnings growth, or 2.5%. This policy was introduced in 2010 and has become a cornerstone of the government's approach to pension reform, designed to ensure that the value of the state pension keeps pace with the economic pressures that affect everyone, including pensioners. While it's clear that this increase in the state pension is designed to help people cope with rising living costs, there are several important points to consider before we can fully assess whether it's enough. First, we have to acknowledge the rate of inflation in the UK, which remains elevated. In fact, inflation is expected to continue running high for the foreseeable future, meaning that an 8.5% increase could quickly lose its value if prices continue to outstrip wage growth and earnings. In simple terms, while an 8.5% boost in the state pension is helpful in the short term, it may not be sufficient to counterbalance the rising cost of goods and services that pensioners face on a daily basis. According to some financial experts, pensioners could still find themselves struggling to cover basic needs even with this increase. One of the most significant challenges facing retirees today is the high cost of energy. With gas and electricity prices rising in the past few years, many pensioners have been forced to choose between heating their homes and other essential expenses. Unfortunately, the 8.5% increase in the state pension may not be enough to offset the increasing cost of keeping the lights on and the heat running during the colder months. This is especially true for pensioners who live in older homes, which tend to be less energy efficient and more expensive to heat. Another area of concern is food prices. Over the last few years, grocery bills have increased dramatically, especially for essentials like milk, bread, and meat. Increases in food prices have a particularly hard impact on retirees, many of whom are on fixed incomes and can no longer earn extra money to cover the growing gap. Even though the state pension increase will help, it won't completely protect pensioners from rising food costs, which could continue to climb as inflation remains high. While the 8.5% increase in the state pension may seem like a welcome relief for many, there's a real risk that it could be a short-term fix rather than a long-term solution. Inflation is a complex issue, and even though the pension increase is tied to inflation, the truth is that prices are increasing at a faster rate than wages for most people. This makes it increasingly difficult for retirees to keep up. The triple lock system, which guarantees that the state pension will rise in line with inflation, has been a crucial safeguard for pensioners over the past decade. However, it's important to note that the government has come under increasing pressure to reform or even abandon the triple lock system due to concerns about the growing cost of maintaining it. If the triple lock were to be abandoned or adjusted, future pension increases might not keep pace with inflation, leaving pensioners at a disadvantage. In fact, some financial analysts predict that the state pension could be reduced or capped in the coming years if the government needs to make cuts to public spending in order to balance the national budget. This looming uncertainty casts a shadow over the current increase, leaving many pensioners wondering whether this boost will be a one-off or a sustainable change. It's also worth considering the fact that the number of pensioners in the UK is rising rapidly. The aging population, combined with the fact that people are living longer than ever before, is placing an increasing strain on the state pension system. By 2030, the state pension bill is expected to reach an all-time high, and there are concerns about how the government will be able to meet this growing demand for pension payments. The government has yet to announce any clear plans for addressing this challenge, and there are fears that they may attempt to shift the burden onto future generations through higher taxes or cuts to pension benefits. These are all factors that could influence the future of the state pension, making it even more important for people to take charge of their own retirement savings. While the state pension increase for 2025 is certainly a step in the right direction, it's also clear that pensioners must not rely solely on this payment for their retirement income. If you're someone who is currently receiving the state pension, or if you're planning to rely on it in the future, it's essential to consider other ways to ensure a comfortable retirement. One of the best ways to do this is to begin saving for your retirement as early as possible. Even though the state pension will provide some income in retirement, it may not be enough to maintain your standard of living unless you have additional savings or investments to rely on. Workplace pensions, private pensions, and individual savings accounts, ISAs, are all excellent ways to supplement your state pension and create a more secure financial future. Additionally, speaking with a financial advisor can help you figure out how much you should be saving each month to ensure you're on track to meet your retirement goals. Even with the state pension increase for 2025, it's clear that the future of pensions is uncertain. With the growing pressures of inflation, rising energy prices, and an aging population, pensioners must be prepared for challenges ahead. If you're under the age of 50 and haven't yet started saving for retirement, now is the time to take action. Starting early gives you the best chance of building a significant retirement fund that will support you when the state pension alone may not be enough. As always, it's essential to stay informed about changes in pension policies and the economic outlook, as these factors will directly affect your retirement planning. While the increase in the state pension is certainly a welcome step, it's also important to recognize the broader challenges that lie ahead for pensioners. The DWP's announcement of an 8.5% increase in 2025 is a good move, but it's not a cure-all for the financial struggles that many retirees are facing. Pensioners will need to remain vigilant about their financial security and plan for the future, taking into account the potential for changes in government policies and the broader economic environment. So, what do you think about this announcement? Do you feel that the 8.5% increase is enough to help you meet the challenges of the coming years, or do you think more needs to be done? As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts, so leave your comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video and found the information helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more updates on pension news and other important financial topics. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.